Like to perform through pain. If you're like me, one of the millions suffering from pain.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of the most recognizable and beloved franchises of all time that has been going on since its initial release in 1984, when it was created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and became a worldwide phenomenon with the help of Fred Wolf, the producer of the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, which was the spark needed to bring our heroes in a half shell to the mainstream. Lovable characters, great comedy, and thanks to this cartoon, a mass of action figures, video games, movies, snacks, new comic books taking elements from the series, and even a crossover drug PSAs.
Get real.
Get out of there!
You got it. Let's see if Joey's that smart.
I'm not chicken. You're a turkey.
The series had become a goldmine, but as all good things must do, the original 1987 series concluded in 1996. But you can't keep TMNT down. And it was quickly followed a year later by a certain live-action Fox Kids show, which is honestly more hysterically bad than I'm getting angry watching this bad, which spawned the first female Ninja Turtle and also had a crossover with Power Rangers. But it was so poorly perceived that they had to reincarnate both with badass versions in the future comics. But at this point, the TMNT was just in limbo. Sure, games and comics were being made, but nothing gets that coin like an animated series and a movie. So we got the great 2003 series. Now, this series was darker and more in line with the original comics and actually took a handful of stories from them and added on to them in future episodes. The reason for that was because this one was heavily supervised by Peter Laird and produced by Lloyd Goldfine, who loved the charm of the original series, but he felt that they missed the whole ninja assassin vibe they had in the comic books. And so he reworked the series to have more adult themes, better actions, and less comedy. Well, until later seasons, but we'll get to that. This show ran from 2003 to 2009 and is considered one of the most beloved Ninja Turtle series to this day. And 3 years later, we were followed by a CGI 2012 series, which took the best of both worlds to become an amalgam of the comics, 1987, and 2003 Turtles. Since in this series, there was heavy comedy writing, phenomenal action, and some of the most emotional moments you could ever experience in an animated series, and this one went on until 2017. But instead of having the usual 2-year-plus gap of time in between series, this one was immediately followed by the 2018 Rise of the TMNT's Turtles, which originally received a ton of backlash for, character designs and Nicktoonish comedy and changing many of the characters' personalities and origins. But on the flip side, it had some god-tier Kill la Kill Trigger-style animation all the way through.
Don't lose your way, your mind free of the...
This series was heavy on the comedy and anime influences, and it shows. But sadly, this series was canceled / put on indefinite hiatus because of its poor performance on Nickelodeon, which we'll get to later.
Now, the reason I worked so hard on this video and I want to talk to you about it today is because each of these 4 series have something of great quality, but certain TMNT fans just get so insanely tribal over their personal favorite and will actively diss the other series without even watching them all the way through, or just because this is their favorite and this is what they will stand for the rest of their life.
Just go to the TMNT Facebook page and you'll see a bunch of ignorant ass fools on every Rise TMNT post. There are some fans of the 1987 series that dismiss every other TMNT because they aren't the ones they grew up with, and will say 2003 TMNT is too dark and too emo and blah blah blah, and then 2012 has CGI that is ugly and Rise of the TMNT is just stupid with ugly character designs. Then some 2003 stans will say their series is the GOAT and belittle each and every other series because the 1987 was too lame, the 2012 was meh and designs weren't that great, and 2018 Rise was too goofy. Then some 2012 fans come along and say 2003 has crap fight scenes and the characters weren't as likable. They are mostly cool with 1987 TMNT since they had a crossover with them in 4 different episodes with the original voice cast, but they don't give them as much respect. And for Rise, they feel it's a spit on the name of the TMNT since every character is far more different. And then for most of the Rise fans I've talked to, they're really chill, but quite a few I've talked to have only really watched Rise of the TMNT because they are cartoon fans in general, but they haven't watched the other TMNT series all the way through.
And that's why I decided to make this video. I've been a colossal TMNT fan since I was about 2-3 years old, so I've seen like literally every series list all the way through in various times. And for this, back in like late 2019 and early 2020, I actually decided just to rewatch every series fully, and then Rise of TMNT finished recently too, so it was fun to just watch all these back to back and like marathon them. I rewatched all 193 episodes of the 1987 cartoon, and yes, that means the Red Sky arc, which was weird, which I'm gonna have fun talking about later. I also rewatched all 156 episodes of the 2003 cartoon, and yes, I did include Fast Forward and Back to the Sewers in that as well. And of course, I rewatched the 1987-2003 crossover Turtles Forever movie, which was just a fun little thing when watching all of these back to back. Then of course, I rewatched all 124 episodes of the Nickelodeon 2012 cartoon. And then recently, I just rewatched the entire series again because I really wanted to and it's so short, of all of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that had an amazing God tier final fight!
The